The month of October is a time that brings awareness to many subjects that are often left unaddressed despite their dire need of change. Now, this includes domestic violence, which estimated by the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control affects more than 12 million people every year. For perspective, half of all women and men in America have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Statistics from the CDC's Injury Prevention Center show that about 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men in the U.S. 18 and older will be subjected to, quote, severe physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. These, of course, are the reported instances, but countless unreported cases of domestic violence and abuse occur in our communities each and every day. Ren Wadsworth spoke with a domestic violence investigator about how people can identify domestic violence and help mitigate it in our neighborhoods.
Victims of domestic violence can feel tremendous fear and crippling isolation. Perpetrators tend to use these emotions to keep their victims feeling trapped. In order to break this cycle, Katherine Nash with the Billings Police says victims must make the first step of coming forward to expose the abuse, which can be incredibly difficult to do. When a violent act is committed, law enforcement is only able to intervene when they are called in the aftermath. Police rely heavily on the help of domestic violence support organizations in the community that provide resources and protection for victims. But they also need the cooperation of the victims themselves.
We can't arrest our way out of domestic violence as a community problem. And so people in the community should recognize the scope of the problem and try to support the community-based services for victim resources, because again, the criminal justice system is not for victims.
Officer Katherine Nash says speaking up can be intimidating, but she wants the community to feel comfortable calling police about any concerns they have. She adds that resources like the YWCA can help victims assess their situation to see if what they are facing is in fact domestic violence. According to Officer Nash, most relationships will not begin violent or abusive, but there will be signs of danger. Red flags early on in a relationship may look like intense jealousy and control, and potentially abusive partners may also attempt to isolate a victim from their loved ones and the world around them.
I speak to a lot of victims who say, after years of this relationship, I learned to just look at the ground, because if I make eye contact with somebody, it starts a fight. Those are problems. That's not a healthy relationship. And so really looking for the control, the isolation, those little things that just feel like they're not healthy, that would be a great time to access resources and get out before somebody becomes very dependent on the relationship and has kids, shares a home, that kind of thing.
The Domestic Violence Investigations Unit hopes that with more education, people will know how to spot the early warning signs in their relationships and in those around them. If you or anyone you know are experiencing this kind of situation, they urge you to contact law enforcement or your local YWCA to get you the support you need, whatever your situation is. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to take these first steps, but it's important for victims to remember that everyone deserves to live lives free from the threat of violence, so they can grow and thrive. Ren Wadsworth, Nonstop Local.
Ren, thank you very much. And as Ren just mentioned, if you or someone you love is experiencing domestic abuse, local law enforcement or the YWCA can help. There's also the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It is available 24/7. This is a resource that can be reached at 1-800-799-7233, or you can go online and have a live chat room with someone. These options are completely free and they are entirely confidential.